Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to your Mushoku Tensei, a jobless reincarnation. Tonight we're on episode 4. So, let me already get boom the comments on the screen. Reason I'm starting with this is little announcement. For the rest of the series, we're gonna do this as a plan. What does this even mean? A great question. This is the breaks in which we're gonna look at the comments. Reason being, season 2 is coming out in like 4 to 5 weeks, right? And we got about 20 more episodes to watch. You know, do the math. I gotta speed up my uploads, right? However, I don't want to have the situation where I'm speeding up my uploads and therefore missing a bunch of comments because people don't have the time to comment. So the kind of play that I want to do here, and I talked about this in the Discord, that's where we got these specific like episode breaks, is to shout out the Discord, is to check the comments using this pattern, right? So the comments for episode 3 we're looking at the beginning of episode 4. The comments for episodes 4 and 5 we're going to look at in 6. The comments for episodes 6 and 7 we're going to look up at 8, and so on and so forth. And then the OVA we're planning to watch at the end, I guess. Feel free to share thoughts about that because that's not locked in or anything. But that's just kind of where we're at right now. But yeah, so that's just a little FYI before we drop into the actual show. Also, my hair's kind of wild. Listen, I was in a wig a bunch, okay? I got back from an anime convention, okay? Blame the wig. It's wig hair. It's wig hair. But yeah. So, what happened last episode? Basically, it was the Sylphie, Rudy, meet each other, Pog episode. Yeah, so we'll do a deeper recap when we actually do a scroll through. Let me just go top to bottom on these comments, and we'll see where we're at. Child racism is good, so true and real. This, I totally agree with. Well, mostly agree with. I'm scared to say totally with all these things, but I agree with this overall, in that I think it was really good for Rudy's like emotional development that he met Sylphie as a boy, thought that Sylphie was a boy, and was able to connect with Sylphie kind of as an equal, right? Which of course is a big contrast to all the freaking trauma from episode 2 that he was going through with, like, he looked at the two random kids when he was walking around and saw like he got like flashes of the bullying and all that kind of stuff. So for him to be able to interact with Sylphie, who was also a victim of bullying, that kind of put him on a nice wavelength. I think very pogged. But then especially for it to be revealed that Sylphie was a girl, I feel like that's teaching Rudy that he can treat a girl a lot of the same ways he would treat a guy. And while we haven't seen like too much of an issue with that, I feel like there could have been like there's some, and I talked about this a little bit last episode, that there could be some like weird like opinions he holds in his brain of like treating a girl and a guy differently, and like I don't know, maybe that would manifest as getting a ton of anxiety around trying to talk to a girl, or treating them like sexually or whatever, or like hyper focusing on them or obsessing or blah 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 blah. But because he was able to meet Sylphie and interact with Sylphie as a boy, like as Sylphie, boy Sylphie, boy Sylphie. Sylphie's like 6 or something. I feel like that kind of dispelled a lot of that idea for him. But I'm kind of assuming a little bit that he had that idea in the first place. But I mean, being a super shut-in who spends all his time cranking it to presumably women, I feel like that would do a number on the psyche there. So I do think that was very pogged for his development. And then also the point of him going out of his way to help Sylphie from getting bullied, because, you know, he can relate to that, shows that he does care about other people. And I mean, we also saw that with the car, right? Car's coming, sees a girl, jumps out of the way to try to get the girl out of the way, right? Which, like, low-key, how safe was the girl? I feel like the girl wasn't even in the crosswalk, but I don't know. That'd be kind of funny if he just tried to save her but ended up just dying and she was totally fine. That would be kind of funny. Not like he's very used to the outside world, so low-key could have been the case. Point being, though, that does show that under a lot of the pervy tendencies and all that kind of stuff, like, he is a person that cares about other people and is willing to put himself in harm's way for other people, which I'm a big fan of, which is kind of why I'm back into Rudy Horse at all, is because there looks like if we can just scrape the grime off, then there's something worthwhile there, right? But yeah, we'll talk more about that in a minute. We love Dr. Pepper, so true and real. Man, I'm freaking thirsty. Should I just drink a Capri Sun? I'm gonna drink a Capri Sun during this episode. Shout out to Capri Sun. Get yourself a drink. Get yourself a snack. I bought myself an entire box of Capri Suns, bro. Okay. This is Pog. So, Sylphiette. like Juliet, or I don't know what a Bernadette is, but first time I've ever heard Bernadette. Shout out to all the Bernadettes out there. But Juliet Sylphiette. Wonderful. Thanks for the pronunciation. I'm so bad with pronunciation. So this point, I do like this. And I'll talk about this real briefly. I've made this point in a lot of different reactions, but I'll say it real quick here. I think I probably already made it in this one too. Real quick though, it's like, as much as I really like when a show isn't scared to go deep in like uncomfortable areas and like untreaded waters, because that's like deep human stuff. I'm totally down with that. It's just, in doing so, it raises the bar of how good the show has to be because of how sensitive the media is that they're dealing with, or the themes are that they're dealing with. Because if you're giving a sense, if you're a show and you're given a sensitive theme, then you got to treat that theme really, really well, or everything's going to fall apart and it's going to look really bad. So that's kind of the root of a lot of my, like, I don't know if worries is the right word, but like a lot of my, we'll say worries. A lot of my like worries about where the show might head comes from the sensitive topics that we're bouncing around with, like a lot of sex talk, right? Especially with like underage people, Sophie getting stripped nude, though there was the whole thing of Rudy thought that Sophie was a boy, but still, like, Sophie's 6, so that's kind of a crazy situation altogether. But yeah, I like some of this here of like, why do they choose to add his otaku inner thoughts, knowing that's a turnoff for most of modern society? Maybe that's because it's what being human is, the struggle between making good and bad decisions, and such. Yeah, it just raises the bar for me, and I hope that Mushoku Tensei can clear it. Man, I made a really big Discord comment the other day, like I Roki Load a novel. I might bring that up. We'll see. I thought this was funny. You really need some kind of legendary shield to defend Rudy. That's crazy to me. So a lot of stuff in here. Let me just go for it. Okay. This is already true, right? That he has the skill of winning arguments. We saw that with Paul. The funny thing is, it might not even be that he has that from like a Reddit Discord mod thing, as much as he's got that from arguing with his own family, right? Because Paul's his dad, and he literally argued with his dad and didn't even flinch at like the emotion of it. Like, he was being chilling the entire time. And you can imagine if he's leeching off his parents for like 20 years, like the amount of times that his brothers or sisters or whatever, like who eventually came in and like bam, destroyed his stuff. Like, you can imagine the amount of times they showed up were like, hey, you're a rat, you're a leech, do something with your life, right? And he had to like find a way out of that. So no wonder he's good at it. At least he's using that skill for good, or at least did in the one instance with Paul here. Because he really was in the right and made Paul back down, and then Paul reevaluated and they kind of made up, which was good. Because, and I don't blame Paul too much. Well, I do blame Paul. Don't smack your kid before they can talk. Like, that's cringe. But, having a kid like Rudy, who is literally full adult in the brain, which I'm about a thing here that we're about to talk about, but having a guy like Rudy who's able to who doesn't act like a kid and is like a savant at magic, or like super good at magic and all that kind of stuff, could be kind of emasculating to Paul, or like kind of a weird, like he might feel like his fatherly role is getting challenged because he doesn't feel like the kid depends on him, so it makes a weird strain. So I can kind of get where Paul's coming from, but at the same time, like, I'm glad that he backed down like that. This is a point here that I think is kind of cope, and I'll explain why. So the point is that the brain, it's important to note that biologically, Rudy's brain itself is still developing at this stage, and biological responses or needs are also, of course, tied to his biological body. I believe that most of the problem stems from people treating this as a, quote, 30-year-old dude in a 6-year-old boy's body, when it's more so a, quote, 6-year-old kid with the memories of a 30-year-old. So I disagree with this, I think, entirely. My points, my reasons are, I think he isn't bound by the typical, like, I think it's maybe a bit of a gradient, but I think he very heavily leans into the 30-year-old dude in a 6-year-old boy's body, rather than vice versa. Because, I mean, think about it, right? He gets born. He pops out of the womb, right? Baby, literally, eyes, exposed to light, tiny little baby brain, all that kind of jazz. Normally a baby cries. What does he do? He doesn't cry at all, and instead he looks up at his mama and goes, Damn, she kind of hot. You know, it's so immediately with baby brain, he's able to form completely full sentence cognizant thought that's on the same level as what he was as a full grown adult moments prior before he got isekai, before he got reincarnated, right? So at least his ability to think and form like sentences is completely unimpeded by reincarnating. And then if you're thinking like, oh well, he had the biological response that he wanted to like suck on the mother's teat. Like he literally says that, dang, I get to suck on the hot woman's teat. This is a win, right? So like and he doesn't cry. So it's not like he had the immediate response to cry, which babies do have. You know, baby gets born, the baby's supposed to cry. He wasn't at all like inhibited by that need. And then any like the need he followed of sucking the mama teat, he was down for that. He wanted that to happen. So I do think he literally just got airdropped full powered adult brain into the kid's body. I mean, that don't even get me started on the whole he teaches himself to read, right? And then studies magic and is a super proficient magic user, better than Roxy. Well, as good as Roxy, I would say. Probably better, low key at this age, right? As a 6-year-old, you know. So like in the only exceptions I would maybe come up with is like he obviously can't crank the hog, and so like libido wise maybe that's dropping, but he's still acting pervy, so it's kind of hard to say. Like he stole panties. Like what do you do with those? You just like feel warm when you hold them in your hands? Like that's kind of odd. Or if you could get like really Freudian and say, no, he still feel those sexual urges as a baby. It's like, okay, dude, not touching that. Or however, I'm not a Freudian expert, okay? I've read some of the stuff, but don't even get me started on that. But yeah, because of all that stuff, especially like the book stuff, and he picks up the language really fast and is talking full sentences. Like I don't know exactly like year-wise when he picked that up and how that correlates, but I mean, he's not talking like a 6-year-old, you know? Or like younger, but like with the beginning of the book stuff, like he's always been on it. So I do think he is a 30-year-old dude in a 6-year-old kid's body, which means I'm going to judge him as I would a 30-year-old dude. And the 6-year-old boy's body is just the vessel he's within, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Some of this other stuff, the whole bath scene, it was just a glimpse of him playing around with what he viewed as a guy friend. Still kind of, like, I'm fine with how it went down, especially because, like, I don't know, it's just like, if I'm your guy friend, don't be stripping me and forcing me to strip when I'm obviously not comfortable with that. It's called consent, you know? But I don't think he wasn't intending anything pervy, so, like, I'm willing to let him off the hook, because I think it was more so him, like, it's kind of a weird thing with the whole 30-year-old kid and a dude in a 6-year-old's body, because the 30-year-old dude in question is super, like, developmentally stunted with, like, social aspects, right? Like, he's been holed up for most of his life. Like, Paul's literally like, here's what consent is, you know? But it's, I don't know, it's hard to judge. That's what makes it hard to judge the guy, because I don't know, like, there's no way, right, that he has no idea and that he's completely, like, just ignorant when it comes to basic, like, respect for other people in, like, in regards to the sexual stuff. There's no way he just doesn't know. Like, surely he's aware of that, but just prioritizes the sexual drive. I mean, he was a 30-year-old dude. Like, I don't think you can exist on the planet for 30 years in almost any way and not at least become aware of, like, it's bad behavior to do all this. I mean, surely his, like, brothers and sisters and mother and father, like, told him, your room stinks, you're a garbage, spend time not jacking off, like, that's fucked up, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, that's why the dude broke the computer, right? The brother, I think it was the younger brother that broke the computer, if I remember right. All that kind of stuff, right? So, like, I think he's aware of all that. He was just, all the trauma and the stuff made him use the dopamine hits of cranking the hog as, like, a way to cope with his isolation and with all that kind of stuff. So it was more like a crutch that he relied on. But, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say, like, hold him innocent on any of that stuff. Unless, like, the bath situation, we got a view of his inner thoughts, and he really did seem innocent there. But, like, stealing the panties, he knows he's being a pervy little rat when he's doing that, right? Like, he's literally, like, you know, scuttling around and and like Lilia the maid is like, don't do that, you know. So he knows that you're not supposed to do that. He knows, right? He's got the devious little grin when he's thinking about sucking on homegirl's teeth. He knows, okay? This is a genuine opportunity for him to learn about personal boundaries and respect. Like, it is, but that doesn't... But he's not exempt. He's not exempt from basic personal boundaries and respect, but he's stunted, right? And he's stunted because of the trauma, right? But just because somebody gets traumatized doesn't 100% guarantee that they're going to become a freaking sit in your room, jack off during your parents' funeral, right? Like I can understand, but I can't excuse completely. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I totally get it, but that doesn't mean I have, you know, that I'm like, have to respect it, you know? But at least in the case of it's not, and I'm not so diehard on that the bath thing is really getting into me, because I'm kind of fine with the bath thing. He really felt bad about it, and he felt bad when he was talking to Paul about it later. But, you know, I don't want to fully excuse him on all those behaviors. All the show is trying to show is that he's going through all these just like a kid would, which he might not have had in his previous life, and being given the chance to stop thinking about himself but think of others as well. And I mean, that's true. That is true. You know, I worry that he's going to hurt other people while exploring these personal boundaries and exploring these respects, which are things that he, you know, I don't know. I'm worried that his pervy stuff is going to hurt people. And if his pervy stuff hurts people, then it's going to be really hard for me to get on Team Rudy ever again, you know? Like, stealing panties and, like, even the Sylvie thing is, like, one thing. But if you're aware that what you're doing is wrong and then you do it and it hurts somebody else, like, that's going to be really bad. Just like you said, he can't suddenly change as a person immediately in one instance, but it's a gradual process. It is. It's also kind of the thing of, like, I'm not super sympathetic for like Earth Deus, right? That's what people call Rudy in the past life. Past life Rudy, I kind of prefer that. Past life Rudy, I'm not even that sympathetic towards him. And maybe I'm wrong for that. But at the end of the day, right, him cranking the hog, missing his parents' funeral, I mean, that's a bad look. You know, the getting crucified and stripped and mocked and bullied is really, really bad. And that does, like, make me understand him and empathize with him more, but, like, you know, what are you supposed to do with that? Like what? I'm supposed to just be like, oh, he's a victim. GG. You know? Like, no. Like, I'm gonna hold him responsible to his actions. I'm just not gonna... it's so weird. And it's so hard to find a position on it because it's so ambiguous and it's so gray. Isn't his last name Gray Rat? No wonder. It's Gray Rat, because he's a rat, but it's in the gray area. Bro. That's crazy to me. 6 years in a positive growth environment will change you as a person to fit your current role. 6 years pales in comparison to the 30 years. Time feeling faster as you get older. I mean, a lot of this stuff is true. I'm not sure. I don't know. This is something I think about a lot, the whole, like, time feels faster as you get older thing. Because, like, I've heard this thing before, and I think it's probably true, but it's hard to tell. I don't know. Time is annoying. I don't like time. But, yeah. So, this is all true. I agree with all this. Oh, yeah. This was a good point. I wanted to talk about this, too. This is a good thing to talk about. The show is a perfect embodiment of the Norwegian correctional and rehabilitative model for criminal offenders. So, like, a rehabilitation prison system, right? There's a reason as to why they're able to reform even murderers or sexual offenders into productive members of society with statistics backing them up. It's education through actions, teaching them how to be human by being human. A lot of offenders, they realize, lack the positive upbringing, whether from a lack of parental social guidance or the trigger of certain traumatic events. Blah, 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 blah. Right? I am a big fan of rehabilitation in prisons and all that sort of thing. The very key word, though, for me is prison. Rudy's not in a prison, so he's being given the chance to rehabilitate, but instead of being able to do it in an area that he's also contained if something goes wrong and he relapses or anything, instead of that, he's with a 6-year-old kid and got free reign. So, and I care about this little Sylvie girl, so, like, you know, that's where the worry comes in. As much as rehabilitation is pogged, like, there's a reason that happens in a contained environment. But yeah, like, yeah, prison staff create a controlled and safe environment. Exactly, right? It's just, yeah, I don't know. I said my piece on that. And then the Rudy Paul fight being kind of an example of that. Shout out to Ed and Tiabu. Blah blah blah. I might watch some of their stuff after season 1. I don't know. We'll see. I don't ever want to watch somebody else's reactions while I'm reacting, because then it's like they're gonna taint my mind. They're gonna taint me, and then I'm just gonna copy whatever they say. Like that's not the move. Wrote a Phil final on a similar topic. A bet. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Next time, instead of posting a comment, just send me a link to an essay you wrote on it, and we'll read the essay. How about that? This is another crazy thing. The Rudy Subaru connection. It's similar and it's completely different. The ways they're similar is kind of obvious, right? Of like, and so like minor spoilers for ReZero, I guess. It'll just kind of like character spoilers for Subaru, I guess. I'll try to be safe on it though, because I've seen all of ReZero. That's up as reactions, right? But Subaru walked in the story like depressed, bad home life, all that kind, or like not bad home life, but well, you know, was struggling mentally a lot, the depression, the isolation, all that kind of stuff. The same like neat getting isekai thing, but immediately, instead of getting 6 years of a nurturing environment, Subaru literally starts to suffer a ton, right? He just gets dropped in and starts getting beaten down by his environment and killed a bunch of times, right? I mean, that's literally the plot of ReZero. So his reasons for having his emotional moments are very like in your face and active, whereas Rudy is working off of like old past trauma as opposed to past trauma plus current trauma, right? So that kind of makes it a bit of a different situation. Also, Subaru's younger than Rudy, if we're counting like mental age, right? Subaru's, I don't know, like 17, 18 or something. Rudy's 30 plus, you know, counting his isekai years. So there's a little bit of a thing there, but Rudy's also was emotionally stunted a lot more than Subaru, I feel like. I don't know. But yeah, it's an interesting connection. I feel like you could do an entire cross-media analysis there. But where we're at currently, I'm a lot more sympathetic towards Subaru than I am towards Rudy, but I'm still pretty sympathetic towards Rudy, at least enough to be tentatively on his side for now. The war flashbacks, what was this?
Paul was feeling romantic.
Oh yeah, Paul's feeling romantic. So true. Not wearing the same shirt, wearing a different shirt. Don't know what you're talking about with the horse. What a horse. I thought this was just so funny. His response. I don't even need to talk about it. Just read it yourself if you want. Same shirt, different shirt. It is what it is. Okay. Let me open up episode 1. So this is episode 1. I was really looking at episode 1 because I was trying to like determine if I wanted to treat Rudy as an adult mind and baby body, or baby body with memories of adult. I'm on adult mind with baby body because of stuff like this. Still getting to suck on a hottie's tits for free rules. He literally spawns out of the womb, right? Looking up at the lads and is immediately forming full sentences, all that kind of stuff. Wait, where am I? This isn't a hospital. So there's no like slip up there. I think he's mostly just using the opportunity to be a baby and chill, because honestly, it'd be so fun to just be a baby. You just get fed, sleep a lot, and hang out. Right? Teaches himself how to read, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay, let's jump into episode 3. Is there anything here I wanted to talk about? Paul, dude, the Paul Riz. Just start giving her a squeeze and see what you do. Wow, you know what's crazy? Paul says a man's strength is for showing off to girls, right? And then what does Rudy go out and do? He immediately uses his strength, not to show off to a girl, because he doesn't really know who the hooded person is, but he uses it to, like, show off to a girl unintentionally, you know? Because, like, he doesn't know Sophie's a girl yet. Sophie and them start working. Paul gets in the argument. Paul backs down. Glad Paul backs down. Rudy completely rolls and smokes him. I mean, he's literally... Look how smiley he is. Oh, he was probably so annoying in his past life. If I was one of the family members, I'm just kicking that guy out of the house 10 years ago. And it, like, well, no. Throw him in a therapy. Force him into therapy. We'll do the good. I'll do the right thing. But, you know, like, just drag him there if you need to. But yeah, he and Sophie, best friends. Love to see it. Strip down, strip selfie. It is what it is. Paul with the father-son bonding. And then they make up. I mean, that's pretty much just where we're at. I feel like they just can't hurt her. That's my issue. I love Sophie. Look how cute she is. She's just chilling. She looks so sweet, okay? She's been bullied her whole life. She has such a negative response to the whole bathing thing, though I guess it's probably fair, but it makes me worry that she has a bunch of trauma too. So I can't have her getting hoed. And I don't trust Rudy not to hoe her. I don't. Would you trust your child with Rudy? Like, I wouldn't. And I'm here to be here for Rudy, okay? I think that there is a good person in there, and then the trauma sent him down the wrong route. But I mean, when you're going down the wrong route, you can always, you have to take those steps, right? You can always turn around. And I mean, it's hard, and never claiming it's easy. And I guess in this case, it requires the entire reincarnation to another world to be able to make that turn. And to start progressing into being like a properly adjusted member of society. But man, like, you can't hurt the child. That's just what it comes down to. Let me pull up my my one Discord thing. My Discord comment. Let me pull that up really quick. Okay. So what I have up here is one of the essays I wrote in the Discord. Which pretty much is me like, this is where I'm at. Actually verbalized properly, because it's a lot easier to verbalize something in writing as opposed to just on the spot rambles, right? So the thing I was replying to was the idea that I'm hyper focusing on the worries about Rudy being a sexual like the sexual issues with Rudy. This was me responding to the claim that I was hyper focusing on that, right? So the thing is that I'm worried about. I don't trust him with Sylvie at all. I'm also spelling Sylvie wrong. Oops, it's okay. My reasons for not trusting him with Sylvie is A, he describes Sylvie as like a submissive in the dream of a Shotokan, so he's already sexualizing Sylvie, not for him, but just in general. That's like what his gut instincts to do. I mean, I get it, like that's your inner dialogue when you've got, like, I get it, like it is what it is. I'm fine with you thinking really perverted thoughts, you just can't act on any of them, right? Him undressing the child without consent, that's something he felt bad about, so I'm willing to give him leeway on that. And then him cranking it to lolly material on his computer. Now he literally has the chance to live out all the fantasies he lived when he was 20 to 30 or however long he was doing this. He's actually getting the chance to live that all out now. So Sylvie walks in. I'm scared. And I think that's okay to be scared. I think they want me to be scared, but it's either the chance for us to be like, what would happen if we actually gave an otaku the chance to live out their fantasies? Like, is there enough good in a person that's that deep into degeneracy? Could there be enough good in them to like make sure they don't do anything bad? Or is it going to be like a touch and go thing where maybe they're like having to really struggle with it? Like, it's an interesting thing to be fighting with. I think that's the point, though, that it's supposed to be like worrying. Because, man, they're really leaning into the sexual language. And then there's the 6-year-old. I mean, it's just insane. It's insane when I say it out loud. I'm literally getting DM'd right now. Wait, I'll turn the DMs off. Wait, how do I do not disturb? Bet. Alright, do not disturb zone. So, and then there's the whole, because there's like 2 parts with Rudy. I feel like that's like building off the trauma. Is he feels like he wasted his life, which fair. I mean, that's kind of what he was saying at the end of episode 1 of like, this is my new chance. Like, I'm about to slam it. I'm about to make it work. So I like that, and he's actually making a lot of progress with that, right? With the whole like learning all the magic, making human relationships with his family, with Roxy, with now like somebody his age, well, his like physical age. So in the whole like making sure he doesn't waste his life, he's pretty much on the right path, and I haven't seen him slip up at all. He hasn't like sat in his room and wasted a month ever. right? Maybe he'll relapse into that kind of behavior, but right now he's completely good on that. So shout out Rudy for that, good job. However, the degeneracy behavior, which I think is the other big problem with Rudy, problem in, like, you know what I mean by problem. The other big problem with Rudy, he is just starting to deal with the Paul talk about like consent. But I just don't trust the lad. I don't trust the lad, and this is an environment for him to heal, but it's at what cost, right? Like, in the new life, he's doing pretty alright, all things considered. Perfect behavior, but having a 6-year-old walk in makes me nervous. Trying to figure out if I'm going to be on Team Rudy at all. To me, yeah, and so the question that I think the show is asking us is, how much do we empathize with this guy, who we've seen has some pretty valid reasons for being how he is, but is also doing things that are inexcusable, or potentially being tempted to do things that are inexcusable? How much are we willing to empathize and be on this guy's side? And I'm kind of I'm not a person that gives a lot of good faith to people that are like really deep into degeneracy. But the show's trying to do that, so I'm totally willing to walk with them on that. But overall, like, I get it. You're shaped by your environment. If you have a really trashy environment, you're gonna end. The chances are, it's not guaranteed, but the chances are you're gonna end up pretty trashy. Like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, it's unfortunate. I wish we didn't have trashy environments, but that doesn't mean that you get a pass for all your garbage behavior just because you were kind of forced to do it. Like, it's still garbage behavior, and I'm gonna judge you on that the same way. You know, it's not the same way I would judge somebody else, but it's still an issue. And then I'm just leaking all the Discord. It's all public. Look at all these spoiler bars. Ooh, I'm gonna click one. Ooh, I'm gonna spoil myself. No. Yeah, explanation, not an excuse mindset. It doesn't mean he's exempt from prior cringe behavior, though it's really tough to make that. It's really a difficult it's a gray rat situation. And like what I just said, I'm not very empathetic towards those people. I feel like I spat a bar here somewhere. Right. I don't care about why he is doing bad things nearly as much as I care that something bad just happened to Sylphie. If something bad happens to Sylphie, then I'm going to care a lot more about the bad thing that happened to Sylphie, and I'm going to judge him on that. I'm going to care about that a lot more than I'm going to empathize with him for why he is the way he is. But, you know, I'm down, okay? The show's going to do crazy things. I'm ready for it. Let's do scroll through. I don't even know if I have anything more to scroll through. Wasn't I just scroll throughing? It's late at night. It's all blurring together. I kind of just jump into the episode. How about FOE Ball? We jump into the episode. Episode 4. And then, like I said at the beginning, we are going to watch episode 4 and 5 together. Like, I'm not going to watch them back to back, but I'm going to watch the two of them, and then we're going to look at the comments for episodes 4 and 5 together on episode 6. That's the plan. Just so that I don't miss people's comments. But yeah. Whew. So much yapping. And there's a lot more I could do. It's just like, I don't know. It's a subject that's really difficult to talk about. Because of how sensitive it is. Because it's talking about mental health, right? It's talking about depression. It's talking about loneliness. But it's also talking about, like, you know, pedophilia, right? It's also talking about, you know, obsessive degeneracy, like porn addiction type behavior. And that's like a little minor point I could throw in of, like, at least for the last 6 years, he hasn't had a functioning Wong because your boy's 6 years old. So at least he didn't even have the chance to be, like, hitting the dopamine from, you know, like, sexual outlet. Like, that wasn't even an opportunity for him. So I kind of, like, it could be forcing him on a fast from using that as a crutch. Which is good. I mean, that breaks him out of that habit. But okay. Honestly, let's just jump into episode 4. Please, for the love of everything holy, Rudy. Rudy, my lad. I'm looking at you in your eyes. You have beautiful eyes. Don't mess it up. I'm willing to put my faith in you. You're an adorable little kid with a human brain, you know, man brain, and I got faith in you. Please don't have it be misplaced. Episode 4. Let's get going in a 3. Wait, I did turn Discord on Do Not Disturb. Okay, a 3, a 2, a 1. Bang. Baby. Younger sibling? You too, Paul. Good job, Paul. He got that, fertility. That's an interesting opportunity for Rudy. Because he had... With whose kid? Paul? Oh, Paul, you little rat. You been effing the maid? Zenith. Smack him. Deserved. I'm not that surprised. Paul was a player. Paul was always a player, in a bad way. I mean, you're a cheating man whore, right? That's me being extreme. That's me being hyperbolic. But, yeah, misplay from Paul. But I felt like Paul was gonna do that. I'm totally. You saw the way he was cupping Zenith's booty last episode. Okay, he wants a piece of the Lillian pie, the Lilia pie. Apparently, Lilia was down with it too, because you know. But man, Lilia really exposed him like that. She could have come to him one-on-one and be like, I think you got me pregnant, but nah. Wait, our family's gonna fall apart? Okay, let me take this seriously. Let me immerse. I mean, there goes, like, Rudy's environment for healing, low-key, right? Like, depending on how bad this goes. This is crazy. They're playing such happy, like, title music to this literally, like, impending divorce-type behavior. Ooh, wow. Zenith looking out for her, though. Good on Zenith. You shut up. You be quiet. Deserved. Paul, sit down. True. Oh, no. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, that's like a huge betrayal, both from Lilia and Paul. Especially Paul, of course. Okay. She hasn't told anyone. The Lilia clutch. You're gonna make a stand for her? Whoa. He's gonna pin it all on Paul. Are you lying? Are you making this up? He's lying, bro. Yeah, Lilius. That's crazy. Bro. I mean, that lets Lilia... No, facts. Yeah, Paul deserves whatever's coming, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, the majority's the Paul for sure. Still not good on Lilia, especially because we know little boys were, lying. But oh, poor Zenith. Dang, he kind of manipulative with it. I mean, I like his point here. Yeah, like I feel like that was a fine play, but man, the emotional manipulation's kind of crazy. Paul, you're a rat. Be quiet. I never want to hear you talk again. Lilia, I don't even know. I, I don't even know what to do with you, Lilia. Guess you're sticking around though. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Paul. No wonder Paul's gonna be mad at him. He literally lied. It was me who seduced Paul. Oh, we're getting a flashback. Oh, she was cranking it in her own way. She was drawing the curtains. I'm sorry. Let me calm down. Bro, just go to the town. Go to the town. Woo a boy from the town or something. You don't gotta go to Paul. Paul, you should still know better, man. He did. He did. I think yeah, it was a good play from him. Whoa, baby! Oh no, that's Rudy. Okay, I thought that was the new baby that just dropped. This is true. This is true. Wow, Master Rudius. Yeah, she's really full sending that idea. New baby just dropped? Aisha! Oh, I'm so... Aisha. Oh, what's up, Sophie? Looks like y'all are having a good time just chilling. What's your name? What's your name? Lilia1? Bro, poor Zenith. Zenith deserves so much better than Paul. F Paul. Sophie, what you writing? So what are we, like 7 now? Sophie has no idea what's it. Sophie was not paying attention. Oh, really? What a crazy thing to just drop on me. He what? He assaulted her? and deflowered her while she... What? Yeah, I'm sick of Paul. Can we kill him? For what? Fair, I guess, but... Bro, just hit him with saint level water magic. Bro, they're animating this like crazy. Bro. I hate Paul. Thank you! Thank you, Rudy! I like Rudy, actually. Dude! Oh, Lilia. No! You can't keep doing it. Come on, Paul. That's not true. Be quiet, Paul. No, I trust Rudy. I'm trusting Rudy. Rudy's really landing into Paul, which I appreciate. I know, I trust you, Rudy. Scummy as it gets. Oh, no. They're bringing up the school idea. We've heard about it before from Roxy. Does he want another chance at school? He might want the chance. Oh, his nervous little sword in the ground. Crazy line. Bro, Paul's the worst. I'm glad that Rudy's holding him accountable. Because that shows that Rudy, like... Oh, Paul... No, don't be a... Paul doesn't know what he's doing. Ugh. Oh, really? Oh, Sophie, you're adorable. Aww. Oh, you're feeling a plateau. A plateau. She doesn't want him to leave. She hugging him? Yeah, she doesn't want him to leave. He's like her only friend. Yeah. She's been bullied by everyone else. Oh, codependent child. Oh, don't cry. Oh, he made a... Oh, no. No, don't say that. What? Rudy, are you humping your pillow? Oh, no, don't say you're gonna shape her to your ideal woman. That's called grooming. Isn't that called grooming? Oh, no. Roxy. Hit the Roxy phone. What's good, Roxy? Shiron Kingdom? Oh, man. Okay. What's up, Roxy? Aw. Why did I say all of that? Great men have great lusts. Bro, grab him, flip him over the railing. Yeah, get rid of this kid. King class, good job, Roxy. He's not emperor. No, he's at his own standstill. Bro, all the guys in this show are degenerates. Yeah, we're Noah Magic. We're going to the Magic University. Sylvie's coming. They accept all the races. It is what it is. We're gonna meet Red Girl on the way. Maybe there, but maybe on the way. She didn't look like much of a mage. I don't know, though. Hmm. His holy relic has been discovered. Just bring Sylvie. It's literally... Oh, but then you have to leave your baby siblings behind. That's kind of sad. I only got one of their names, Aisha. I think that was the blonde one, right? Deserved. Deserved kick. He's getting kicked by both of them. At least they grouped up uh, in kicking him. I don't know. Bro, I'm gonna kill Paul. I don't even have to dislike Rudy or get onto Rudy at all, because Paul is here. Let's go. Good move. Yes. Why not? Parental responsibilities. Okay, how are we gonna make our own money? What are we gonna do, little Rudy? Yep. Good call. We saw that one coming. To pay for Sylphie, bro. Whoa. Rudy on the grindstick gonna get a job, but that's a first for him. Oh no. Form her into his ideal woman. Oh, Rudy. Oh, Rudy. Please tell me that's more just a verbalized, more of a thought than a precursor to action, please. We still gotta deal with Sophie's parents. I feel like Sophie's parents are gonna be cringe. How do I pronounce your name? Jishlani? Damn! Oh, Paul definitely been with her. Ghislaine? Ghislaine? Oh, that's Norn. Norn's the blonde one. My fault. Okay, bet. I've written down their names. Norn and Aisha. And now we got Gaidone. Or whatever. Yeah, what's going on? What is this, like a... You're just gonna throw him in the carriage? Oh no, you're gonna fight her. No, you're gonna fight Paul. Your test? Your spell sword test? Okay. Oh, okay, that was cool. I like that. Muddy? This is it right here. Oh my goodness. There's no way. Yeah, you're donezo. Oh, it's gonna hurt. And you're done. Good night. And now you're in the carriage. Okay, I see the move, Paul. Knock him out so he can't argue. It's a good move. Why are we with this beast woman? Is she... I feel like she's a crazy swordsman teacher. We worked... Oh, is this the job? This is the job. My fault. It will be my pleasure. Oh, it sure will, won't it? Emergency family meeting? Oh, it's over. Dude, what is happening? Oh, no. This poor... Dude, I don't trust Rudy, but Rudy's making... It's like half of it is such good moves. You know? Paul's the worst, by the way. Can we just kill Paul? Like, damn. Just, man, Rudy has two paths, and I can't tell which one he's going down. He's like walking in between the two paths right now. Degeneracy route and then not... Like, I feel like he's not... You know what? I feel like he's doing better than he could be by a lot, right? Because... he's like the little earth sculpture that he molded of Sylphie was of her grown up, and he said like mold her into the ideal woman, so at least he's waiting as opposed to trying to do something crazy early. Like that is a plus, but at the same time, like, not a healthy power dynamic for a relationship, you know. The whole 30-year-old, 7-year-old grow up together molding thing. And he literally says the line of, like, it won't be good for Sophie, but it'll be good for me. In regards to the magic school. A young lady in violence. Gilone? Gizlon? Galon? I mean, she's so hot. So I guess that's good. Oh my goodness, this can't be practical for combat. No way this is practical for combat. Do you have like extra hardened beast skin? You're literally wearing fur on your coat. It's so what? You're not getting overheated because then you wouldn't be wearing the fur. Oh, maybe it's meant to distract. Because there's no way I'm going to swing a sword at you, right? I'm going to be, you know. From the adventuring days. I mean... what is it? Paul? I almost called him Phil for some reason. Can we just get rid of Phil? Paul? Like absolute rat behavior in the worst way. Cheating on the wife with the maid. I mean, the maid had to have a purpose, right? I said the maid might have died. Not cheating with the maid is a super, not expected. And I'm here for it. Good drama, but it is what it is. Rudy navigated that like an absolute pro, so I can appreciate that. And one thing that, like, specifically he didn't stress about getting younger brothers or sisters, because previously he did mention that he didn't want a younger brother, but he literally, like, advocated for the second sister, and he was doing that as, like, a payoff to Lilia. But, I mean, still a positive that, like, he's gotten somewhat over that worry, or that... like, he's not scared to add members to his family, right? So that, I mean, that's a plus on the development. And honestly, like, he hasn't been doing anything really pervy. I mean, she's literally hugging him and crying, and he literally just hugs her back and comforts her. But then it cuts to hit. So it's like you know, they're going, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is good. I can work with this. It's a little odd, but like it's totally acceptable given all the circumstances. Like, you know, she completely was just crying and codependent and wanted to latch onto him because her family life probably sucks and she's bullied, so she has no other friends. Like, totally down, and then he just, you know, in a respectful way, just hugs her back and says like, like, I'm not going anywhere, don't stress it. But then he says just something that's just not a good idea. That's just what I'll do. We'll grow up together and I'll gradually raise her to be my ideal woman. Just that line, I'll gradually raise her to be my ideal woman. No, Rudy, no, you can't do that. You have to let her come to her own conclusions. You can't raise her like a little, like, coat, you know? And she's so codependent on him, so, like, I mean, what's even the difference between just growing up with her and raising her, you know? Like, and shaping her and kind of grooming her? Oh, man, why do you have to reincarnate? I'm so glad reincarnation doesn't actually exist. Or maybe it would be better that way, because then all these questions would have, like, socially approved answers, right? Not that social approving is necessarily the best thing, but... Because sometimes the social policies or whatever sometimes are really cringe. But, like, it would be nice to get social feedback on the ethics of reincarnation, you know? Instead of just having to completely figure it out. It's just, damn, I'm so stuck on that line. And then he's humping his pillow, right? That's what this is? And he's treating it like a body pillow. He's treating it like a Sylphie body pillow. He just doesn't have one. Because we know he had body pillows back in his otaku den. Wait, is your little booty out? Can I see your little booty? I can't... Or do you have pants on or not, dog? Do you have your pants on or not? I mean, it's not even... No, he's definitely got his pants on. Is he humping his pillow or treating it like a body pillow? Are either good. Who's this random noble being a pervert to Roxy? Can we lay off of Roxy? No, yeah, he's got shorts on. God damn it. This show is gonna kill me. Do I have anything else to try to yap about? I mean... I hate Paul. I'm totally on Zenith's side. Zenith deserves better. Lilia's a rat, too. Like, I'm not going to forgive you for seducing Paul. Like, you got your sexual desires, like... And she's obviously, like, you know, masturbating on her own. Like, that's fine. The walls were thin. I've been hearing it the entire time. And, like... So I don't blame you for wanting a piece of the Paul pie. But, like... Paul accepting the bait that easily... She literally was just bathing and he walked in. So, like, that's not, that's still a Paul fault. That's still fault on Paul, because it's not like she, like, was whispering in Paul's ear and it went on for a long time. She literally was just naked one time and Paul took that bait, you know? And the door was cracked. It's not like she even left the door wide open. It was just intentionally cracked. So, Paul sucks. Paul's the worst. I hate Paul. Oh, man. Zenith is the only good kid. Zenith, Sylvie... Roxy. That's the trio. That's who I'm here for. Random Gizlon or whatever. I'll figure out the pronunciation later. She seems cool too. But like, girl, you wanna get it off? You wanna deal with your pent up urges? I mean, you're doing something here, so respect. Like, you're dealing with some of the urges. It's not enough. Okay, I get it. Go to the freaking town. Go romance a boy there. But like, you don't gotta go for Paul. And maybe you're not supposed to leave, but in that case, I kind of get it more. Like, I'm not holding Lydia that responsible. It is what it is. But Paul, come on. Paul, you should know better. Rudy, does he think that this is okay? Frick. Because it's the whole... You can't groom children. You can't do that. But how much is it due to him being ignorant, and how much is it due to him being a pervert? That's the issue that I'm at. And look at it, it's fun that he has this shelf full of a bunch of weeb stuff, by the way, of like, oh, Godzilla, and, you know, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So that's a fun little thing, a fun little detail, right? But, like, I don't know if that's due to him being emotionally stunted or him being actually a problem. Or even if there's a difference between the two. And if so, I mean, I'd still rather Rudy just not mess with Sophie. I'd rather Sophie be able to like be her own person and leave. Like I prioritize Sophie's well-being way over Rudius's perv ideas. Obviously, you know. I just can't figure out if I'm Team Rudy or not. They really joshing me with Team Rudy here. They're really yanking my chain with Team Rudy here. Is there anything else I'm even trying to talk? Paul, I hate. Stop womanizing everyone. Zenith deserves better. This giant booba wolf lady. Okay. Why are you here? Okay, you want a job, it is what it is. Honestly, I feel like that's all I gotta say for this episode. I might prepare a rant. For next episode. We'll see. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode. Episode 4. On to the next. Episode 5 should be exciting. Of course, if you like the video, subscribe if you're new, blah, blah, blah. Comment down below if you have anything to say. Join the Discord, talk to me or others there. Bro, I'm literally going to have to look up the definition of grooming and looking up a bunch of, like, freaking child psychology's, terminology. Like, oh my goodness. But yeah, that's all I got for this episode. Episode 4. On to the next. Episode 5 should be exciting. I'll be seeing you then. Peace.